Here's a question for you guys. Who were you before her? This is what I'm going to get into today. I'm very excited about this topic because this is something that for those of you who've had a relationship go sideways, or maybe you're in a relationship right now where things are just slipping between your fingers and you want to figure it out because you've most likely been too needy, too available. Well, we're going to talk about that in today's video. Because this is going to help you guys a lot. And I'm going to go through why you got to this place to begin with, which is essentially why you lost yourself, why you're a different man than you were when you first met your girl. Okay. And then I'm going to give you 3 solutions to help you get back on track so you can reignite the attraction with the girl that you're with if things are seemingly going down a slippery slope, or so you can prevent this from happening in any future relationship that you get yourself into. All right, so let's talk about who were you before her. All right, so a lot of you guys, you started off very strong. You started off very confident, charming. You got a lot of things going on. Life was good. Then you meet this girl that you're really into. She's super hot. You feel really good when you walk around town with her, hanging on your arm. You're the man. You know, you finally scored, or you finally got yourself a really, really sexy girl that you're super into. Now, here is what happens for the guys who go down that needy path, down that path of being too available, and it kind of turns her off. Okay, and this happens slowly over time, guys. It's not a light switch like this where it's like instantly she's not attracted to you or instantly you lose yourself. This slowly happens over time. Now, why? Well, bit by bit, you are wanting to spend more time with her than you're wanting to do things on your own, than you're wanting to continue the things that you were doing before you even met her, right? This is what a lot of you guys are doing. Now, why in the hell would you do this? Well, it's very easy. You are more than likely, it's more fun, it's more enjoyable, but here's the key word, it's more comfortable to be spending your time with a hot girl. Am I right? You get to enjoy her beauty, the touch of her skin, the feel of her body against yours, the sound of her voice, you know, hooking up, getting intimate. I mean, that is, of course, going to be a lot more enticing than going off into the world on your own, doing stuff, grinding it out at the gym, pursuing passions. Maybe it's building a business that doesn't have good days sometimes. You know, we all know that when we're doing things like that, working out or building a business, you have days that suck. You have days that you get absolutely nothing accomplished or you get told no a million times. That's not a very comfortable feeling. But look over here. You got this beautiful girl who wants to hang out with you. Maybe she wants to cook for you. Maybe you guys just go out to the beach. You go on road trips. You go on trips. You go on vacations. I mean, anybody is going to want to go that route. Am I right? But what happens here is that you start to over accommodate and you start to erase the side of yourself that was the man when you first met her. Now, what does this look like exactly? Well, slowly you stop hanging out with your buddies. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, going out to hang with the buddies. That gets cut down to maybe 2 nights, 1 night, and then eventually maybe once a month, if that, right? Your hobbies. Maybe you used to ride your motorcycle. You used to play video games. Maybe you used to have a poker night. Stop doing that. She doesn't like video games, or she doesn't play poker, something like that. And now all of a sudden, you're going to fucking, cooking class. Not that that's bad, but it's something like she wanted to do. So you slowly are starting to chisel away the things that made you who you were, right? Now, doing things with your girl, like a cooking class, it's not inherently bad. Those are great. It's a fun thing. It's a cool thing to do, right? Going on a trip with your girl, it's a lot of fun. Who doesn't want to do that? There's nothing wrong inherently with that. But the problem is you start to chip away all the other things and you're only focusing on the things with your girl. And all of a sudden now, your identity is attached to her, to the woman in your life. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, you start to ask her permission for things. Okay, back when you were rocking the solo life, you lived for nobody else but yourself. But now that you got this girl, you don't want to lose her. You don't want to risk losing her. So you think it's important. You think it's essential to be asking permission. Hey, babe, do you mind if I go hang out with my buddies this weekend? Oh, hey, babe, I'm thinking about going to this concert with the guys. Is that okay with you? In your mind, you think, okay, I'm just being a really nice, thoughtful, considerate, chivalrous type of a gentleman by making sure she's cool with it. This is where you guys are going wrong. First of all, your girl, by asking her if it's okay to do something, now you're giving the control of your own life to her. It shouldn't be that way. You need to be the leader. You need to lead your own life. Second, you're having her make decisions for you. Deciding and making decisions is a masculine behavior. Not to say that women don't make decisions, they certainly do, but this taps into a masculine part of their persona, of their character, right? Because both men and women have both feminine and masculine traits. Now, when you're asking her for permission, you're making her the leader and you're making her make a decision for you. You're slowly chipping away that you are the leader of yourself and for the two of you. Okay? So you can see how that slowly starts to fade away, and now she's becoming more and more used to being masculine with you. And now, the funny thing too is the more you ask her for permission, she's actually going to get a little bit resentful of this because she's going to think to herself, just make your own fucking decision. Stop asking me this stuff. And she might not outright say that, but her behavior will reveal that. She'll get a little more bitchy, a little more shorter with you. And you think to yourself, God, she's getting kind of irritated. She's getting kind of short with me. So I better be extra nice and go even further to ask her permission and be extra sensitive around her. So you start walking on eggshells. How many of you guys have been in this position before where you were like, man, I'm being so nice, I'm bending over backwards, but she's still in a bad mood or she's getting really bitchy with me? How many of you guys have experienced this? Well, if you're wondering why, this is exactly it, because you have essentially given up your own balls, put them in a jar, and gave them over to her. You're no longer the man that you were before, who was that guy who was like, boom, charming, leading, did his own thing. That is the energy that she was into. And over time now, because you got the good pussy, okay, because you got that hot babe on your arm when you go out to dinner, you're getting soft. You don't want to lose that. You're hanging on tight, so you want to make sure that she's always okay, and you got to check in and get permission. And in doing so, you completely lose your edge, your masculine edge, and the reason why she's into you in the first place. Okay? You're trading out your life mission and purpose for comfort. And when I say comfort, it's the comforts of being with a girl. Now, what do women go through when they experience you behaving like that? Okay, because some of you guys, you're getting dumped after 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year. It's because by that point, the woman just does not trust your leadership anymore. You're acting more like a boy, like a child, than a man in leading this relationship. You're asking her permission, making sure it's cool with her, and you're not doing shit on your own. You're not going out and being that charismatic, like that scoundrel of a man who just went off and did his own thing. You have to maintain that part of yourself. The man that you were before her has to stay there. Okay? So you're becoming a bit of a nice guy. You're being too agreeable. You're accommodating her schedule, and instead of like really living your own life so she can be a part of that. And you're essentially putting her into the position of being a leader. That being a leader is also masculine. So you have now forced her to become the man, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't know this. She might not be able to articulate that, but she's resentful of it when you behave like that, and things are going to get worse. And inevitably, she'll probably say, this isn't working out. And then you're like, what the fuck? Like, I was accommodating. I was asked permission. I was being the nicest boyfriend ever. Bent over backwards for her. That's not attractive. You may have thought that because that's what society has brainwash men into believing, but that's not attractive. Okay. And, like I say here, her attraction is fading not because you were not enough of a guy. It's because you stopped being you and became this people-pleasing softy who's kind of boring. I mean, just to be very frank and honest about it, you became a pushover, boring. Instead of being this like hard charge badass, you became a soft, limpy, flaccid dick that, girls ain't into that. So here is the part now where we figure out what do you do about this, okay? If you're a guy who's gone through this already, you've already been dumped, and you're like, fuck, what went wrong? Or if you're a guy who's in that position right now where you realize things are kind of going south, I better do something about this. Here are my 3 solutions to get you going, okay? First of all, you've got to get back to your hobbies and your passions. The things that you did before you met her, you've got to bring all those back. Okay, you cannot get rid of hobbies because you think she might not like it, or maybe even she says she doesn't like it. You got to bring those things back. That's the man you were when she met you. You got to bring him back. And a lot of times when women say they don't, or they don't like a certain thing or hobby, first of all, if you're with a girl who has any of those things, probably not a good fit. You want a woman who respects it. She doesn't like everything that you do, but if she's telling you what you should and should not do, not a good fit, not a good candidate to be a girlfriend. But anyway, bring those hobbies back, whatever it happens to be. Motorcycles, video games, Dungeons and Dragons, cigars, whatever it happens to be that you are passionate about, that you like to do, bring it back. And if she complains about it, if she gives you shit about it, if she's, all of a sudden getting on your case, this is where you got to stay strong. You got to be that leader and be like, yo, you might not like it, but this is one of my things that I love and I've missed it and I'm doing it again. Okay. So I hope you can understand that. But if not, hey, I totally get it. This is where you have to have that resolve to be like, yo, this is who I am. I hope you stick around and, not just call it quits because of that. But if it's really something that you can't handle, then I understand. You have to have that personal resolve to be able to let go of that comfort, that beautiful girl, that really good punani. Got to be willing to do that, to stand up for yourself and get back to who you were. But more than likely, she's going to respect that. She's not going to go anywhere. You have some balls. You do your thing. Go back to who you were. She'll respect that. Okay. The next thing, number 2. Do stuff on your own at least once a week. You got to have a day where you're just doing your own thing. Get out there, go hang out with buddies, go pursue a hobby. Whatever it is, you need to maintain this thing and not be like this little puppy dog that just always has to be with her all of the time. Okay? It's really important for you to have time away from her, to do your own thing, and to establish this type of behavior and routine with whoever you're dating, or if you're married, or if you have a girlfriend, whatever the case may be. You need to establish that you still are preserving part of yourself that needs that time to do his thing and pursue those passions. Women will respect you for that. Establish this early on in the relationship so you don't have to try to renegotiate later on once it's 1 year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, whatever. It's a lot harder to do it later because she doesn't see you that way. You've established yourself as a guy who just doesn't do anything on his own, and now all of a sudden you're doing this thing, it's going to be more difficult. So establish this earlier on in the relationship that you like to have at least some time by yourself once a week. Go out and do something, whatever. And if she asks about it, be like, it's nothing to do with you, sir. But it's like me as a man, I just got some time to just do my thing and make sure I, maintain those things that I love to do. It has nothing to do with you, but this is something I really love to do. And I'll see you when I get home. Have that dinner ready for me. Throw her a little charm, a little sass, a little little teaser a little bit, but behave in such a way that she knows, okay, this guy is doing his own thing. Not because you're selfish. It's because you need to maintain yourself first so you can be the best version of yourself for yourself and for when you're together with her. Okay, number 3, stop asking permission and behaving like a child. You need to lead yourself. You need to lead your own life for yourself. Okay. So a lot of these guys, I got to check in with my girl. I got to make sure she's okay with it. Let me ask my better half. I've had friends who it's like every time you ask them to do something, oh, I got to check in with such and such to make sure we're not doing anything this weekend. Like, dude, that is the epitome of handing over your balls in a jar. Okay. And again, all these three things that I'm telling you, they're so much easier to do when you establish that you're this type of man from the very beginning. So if you happen to be single right now, make sure you maintain these things the next time you get into a relationship. This establishes your leadership. You want to set the ground rules from the beginning, not, and you don't need to say, oh, these are these three things I'm definitely going to do, but through your behavior. And when you're first getting to know her, be like, hey, you know what? Like maybe she says, hey, can you get together such and such a day? Like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Like that day, I'm usually doing stuff. I'm out kind of doing my own thing. I like to have at least one day a week where I do that. But I'd love to see you. Maybe we could. What's your schedule looking like the rest of the week? You know, kind of like you're letting her know that, hey, I do make sure that I take time for myself. And once she understands, say, okay, this is a guy who does that, then you're good to go. She knows what she's getting into at that point. Very powerful. Okay, so stop asking permission. Do things for yourself. Do things on your own. Do things without having to ask. And trust me, guys, if you can lay down these three things from the very beginning, you're going to see how much more feminine of a woman you're going to attract, and how much more feminine the woman in your life is going to be, and how much more they're going to want to spend time with you. So instead of you getting ghosted and her dumping you in 6 months, she's going to actually long to see you more because you have that energy that you had before you met her. And hopefully you are that kind of guy who had that energy before you met her. If you don't, you need to really cultivate your passions and like a life mission, your passions, your hobbies, so you have something going on in your life that's not simply centered around a woman, okay? I have a guide called the 12 Traits. What is it called? I always forget the name of it because it's called the Gentleman's Guide, 12-Point Guide to Dropping Panties. Great name. I thought about that name and what would be good to match the Sophisticated Scoundrel vibe, and the Gentleman's 12-Point Guide to Dropping Panties is a perfect name for it. So if you want that guide, it has 12 traits that will, if you learn and master these, it will help you. You will see a dramatic increase in your ability to interact positively with women, and their level of attraction for you will grow. So grab that. It's in the link down below. It's free. Also, if you're not already, come and hang out with me on Instagram. I have two. One of them is called Miami Vice Life. I have over 400,000. I'm almost at the 450,000 followers there. This is where I've coached thousands and thousands of men from around the world. My other account is The Sophisticated Scoundrel, and this is just my personal account. I still drop a lot of writing, and the things that I coach and teach here, they're in there, and it's all original photos and video content. So come and hang, drop me a message, and come and see what's up at Instagram. All right, guys, that is it for this video. I hope this one helped. Those 3 solutions to help you guys get back to the man that you were before you met her. Rock these things out, and you will see a much better change in the quality of the women that you're attracting and the quality of the relationship that you have. All right? I'll see you in the next video.